guys, welcome back to the episode of Bet GPT. This is episode 86, and today our usual co-host Austin Slade is taking a day of PTO. We got my good buddy Joey Isaacs at Joey Isaacs on Twitter, our resident tennis expert in the building to break down the U.S. Open draw. You may remember him from what I think we talked maybe almost a year ago. We talked a little bit of football, or I think it's Super Bowl, Oscars odds, a bunch of stuff like that. But really appreciate you hopping on and joining the show to talk some tennis today.
Yeah, I'm excited, and it's been a fun week. Starting with the mixed doubles, I loved it. What did you think about it?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw a tweet from you yesterday that said the final is going to be super humbling to Ruud and Iga. That didn't end up actually being the case. They held their own and pushed it to that third set super tiebreak. Obviously, we saw a big difference in terms of, these are just singles players playing instead of the traditional doubles. So a little bit of strategy, a little bit of, I guess, less preparation from the singles guys as opposed to the eventual winners, Vavasori and Irani. But ultimately, I liked it. I caught a lot of it. What did you think about the event?
It grew on me as it went on. I thought that the first day felt like I said COVID bubbly, like they were just
Yeah.
trying to force this like event on us, and I wasn't sure if the players were taking it serious. And then last night was just like they made it a stage, they made it fun. You got to see some real doubles players, you got to see some great singles players, and I liked it. I thought there was a couple, my like three things that I'll take from it, at least short term, is I thought Anna Samova got absolutely slaughtered by Renee Stubbs, like on the broadcast. Like she was just, I don't know if you saw, but she was just going at her. Like
No
that was
mercy.
brutal, no mercy. It was brutal to watch or listen to. Another thing I guess I'll take from it was I don't watch much doubles. I always enjoy doubles, but I was so impressed with that Iranian Vuzisori guy yesterday, and
Yeah, you could tell just like tactically, they were like two steps ahead of all their opponents.
yeah, I
Um,
felt the singles players kind of had they're great doubles players naturally just because they're great tennis players, but they didn't have like any form of tactics or knowing where their partner is going to be or game or plays, and like I think the Vuvasori guy, like he moves around so much. Like he made it actually like a physical match, and I think that's why his legs gave out. I thought he was cramping.
yeah. Well, and yeah, it was really impressive too because Irani, I think she's in her upper 30s, and she's only, throwing her second serve in there at like 68 miles per hour. So, with
Yeah,
one of the best returner on the women's side, and then Rude, obviously, we've seen him, make some Grand Slam finals. Like these guys were trying to hit it hard and hit the open court, but, Vuvsori was running all over the place, causing them to ultimately have some unforced errors, if you will. And they had to break her serve if they wanted to win that match, and they weren't able to do it in the tiebreak. Well, I mean, they were able to do it in the second set once, but not enough, I should say. So
it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and,
yeah,
and also I guess they didn't play the finals to fast four, so it was even a legitimate set win.
yeah,
Good for them.
yeah.
I mean, Casper's very impressive doubles player, and Iga's like what a semifinalist in doubles. So uh,
So
not
do you think that they should convert the Grand Slam doubles tournaments to this, like for the foreseeable future?
I think it would lose some luster, like if every single one does it. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't think so. I think it should be a U.S. Open kind of thing only, and maybe they'll find a way to incorporate, a
Yeah,
chance for doubles players to make. I mean, because the money is the big issue. Is that
yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of it's a lot of money that can really help these doubles players that they're not getting a chance to. So maybe they could figure out some way to. I think that they're gonna amp up the real doubles money to like spread it out, but it's tough. I mean, these doubles players need that Grand Slam mixed doubles money, even if it's like $30,000. That helps a lot.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And that's why, like, the two that won it last night, like they won $1 million. I think last year when they won, I think they split
No,
250.
250 maybe. But Arani, I looked up last night because I was curious, but she's made $17 million.
Okay, gotcha.
She's
So
a singles finalist Grand Slam,
yeah,
and one of the few, I didn't know this until yesterday either, but one of the few openly LGBTQ players, which is cool.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure she's dating Paulini. I was trying to start that rumor and see if that's true.
She was there sitting front row.
They're at every one of each other's matches. They're also doubles partners.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think in the future they can, to kind of close out on this topic, I think like there was a field of 16, maybe we could do like 8 of the traditional doubles teams and 8 of these newer teams. Kind of meet somewhere in the middle, but I mean, you saw center court last night, Arthur Ashe. It was bumping last night for a doubles match where normally it wouldn't be that packed. So I
Yeah,
think they're moving in the right direction.
yeah. I think what would be cool is if they had like a totally open kind of day. Maybe what, and they have to start. They have to start it 2 days after Cincinnati, and they'll figure that out easily. But I think like the day before, like let's say it would start Thursday, and let's say it's Wednesday, Thursday, which is fine, 2 days. Maybe Tuesday they have like an open day where all the doubles teams can kind of play, let's say 10-point tiebreakers for one spot. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you
I
get like
like
a
that.
wild card or a qualifier, kind of. I guess it would be a qualifier, but you at least give them a chance to make this tournament because I think that was the big issue is that they not feeling invited or that thing. They
Yeah.
have no chance. So I think they got to
Yeah.
add a qualifier spot. But
Yeah, I like that.
they have a year to figure it out. It was definitely a success. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, because like if we did this podcast a year ago, we wouldn't have been talking about the doubles final, right? So it's already people are already talking about it. So
yeah,
um,
I will say even like watching the singles players play less quality doubles, like the first one was a lot more fun to me than watching
mhm,
these like really good doubles teams. Like the second one,
yeah,
the Harrison match, like you just don't know them, you don't like care. Uh, there was something about watching these singles players play doubles. Maybe it's like they're good enough to where it's very fun, enjoyable points. Like I don't need to see these like perfection. Like Vuvasori was like amazing, but like almost too good at times. Where like
yeah,
I'm fine seeing the guys I know more, which is stupid. But as a fan saying that.
yeah, and I think most fans probably feel the same way. But lucky for you, we'll see everyone kind of back in their traditional settings starting this weekend. So the draws came out around noon Eastern time today. So today's podcast, we're gonna start with the women here. We're gonna go through each of the quarters, talk about everyone's path, kind of who we see has odds to, or what are their odds to win the quarter, which is for those of you who don't know, which that'd be to make the semifinal. So let's start off with I guess quarter one here. So if you're looking at the draw, it's at the very top of your bracket here. This is Sabalenka's portion of the draw. She's number one player in the world. She's minus 125 to take this quarter. I know you are very high on Elena Rybakina. She's 4-1 to win the quarter, and then we also have Raducanu 9-1, Paulini 10-1, and then Towson 14-1. So I guess I'll hand this over to you. I know Sabalenka is the favorite, but I'm pretty sure what I've been hearing from you is you got your eyes on Rybakina here
I do. I have her. I don't love her. Like I think she's probably like a 10-1 now. I was able to get 16-1, I
for
believe.
outright. Yeah.
Outright, and she actually matches up. I'm not saying it'll be her versus Sabalenka. Maybe it will. She matches up with Sabalenka better than any of the top players. Like I think that Coco is a pretty tricky matchup for her. Iga's really tough. But Sabalenka's just like absolute like they both really are similar kind of players in terms of they both like first strike and to be like in control of the point and power games and I feel like Rybakina feels like she can hold serve every time, and I think her serve is better than Sabalenka's serve. So in a match like that, where it's going to be like one break, I feel like she's very comfortable and matches up very very well. I mean, she should have beat her in the Wimbledon warm up. She had like 6 match points. She beat her in
She
Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
she
on
beat her in Cincinnati August 15th. So what? I mean, 6 days ago.
yeah.
Last Friday. Yeah.
On that, if they do play, I think it's a great matchup for Rybakina. I mean, she won't even be that big of an underdog. Um, but this
Yeah.
is a really, really, really tough group. I think it's probably the toughest group. Even Mertens gave Rybakina a very hard match in Cincinnati. And then you have Vondrasova, who's won a Grand Slam, who can get hot. Fernandez has been a finalist here. Towson is a girl that I have 4 futures, and she's actually one of them.
Okay.
So another
So,
powerful player.
yeah, I mean, Towson, I'm glad you brought Towson up. She just beat Iga a couple weeks ago. So she's
She beat her
a young
last
and
year.
yep.
I don't know if she beat Iga. Did she?
Towson,
After
yeah.
this is before Wimbledon, then.
Towson Iga was in Canada on August 3rd. Towson won 7-6, 6-3 in
Oh,
the round of 16. Yeah.
um, and then and then Raducanu and Paulini, another Grand Slam champion and the finalists of Cincinnati.
And we've seen it's been nice to see Emma Raducanu kind of get back into form. I know she busted out on the scene a couple of years ago and is kind of growing into her game right now. She's played Sabalenka tough a couple times. I know lost in a tiebreak. I think that was on like the 4th of July or that week back at Wimbledon. So um, yeah, excited to see how that shakes out. Ultimately, I'm probably not betting here in terms of the quarter winner. I think I'm just gonna wait for the Rybakina Sabalenka matchup head to head and try to hit Rybakina maybe around the I don't know. What do you think it's gonna be around the plus 150 range maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look right if you look at the draw, like if you take away the players and you say, okay, there's so many good players, but like if you look at the actual draw, you'll see that Sabalenka is going to play Fernandez, which I think is a pretty easy matchup for her.
Yeah,
Players that are going to be like really another. I think Towson has a good draw to the at least to the fourth round where she'll play.
yeah.
I think
Towson's got Iala and then Buxa and then would have the Elise Mertens kind of bracket against Clara Towson would go on against
And
Sabalenka. So
Silva is in this too that just made the semis of Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has been a tournament that has translated to U.S. Open success.
mhm.
They have a similar ball. I think they have the same ball that the U.S. Open does. I'm not sure actually. That might be Winston Salem that does that, but they try to make it at least fast. It's Cincinnati's very fast, but the U.S. they try to make it comparable to the U.S. Open in some ways. So it has translated more than the warm up tournaments for other Grand Slams. So I think that's interesting when you
Yep.
look at Kessler Lynette's a great first round match, and the winner will play Vondrasova. So you're gonna get of the like side of death like 3 people out there. So I think Paulini is actually I'm gonna call a big upset here. I'm gonna go with Jovic over Paulini in round 2.
Nice. I like it. So our first kind of big upset. We saw Paulini just make the finals in Cincinnati, ultimately losing to Iga. But
Yeah,
she, how tall is she? 5'7"? I don't know. That might be.
Paulini?
Yeah.
No, I don't even
Oh,
think
she's
Jovic.
5'4". She's 5'4". She's very short.
He's very
Um,
short. Jovic is a I think matches up perfectly, but I think Jovic is going to struggle versus her first round a little. I think she could win it, and if she does, I'm going to go with the big upset, Jovic over Paulini, which I'm pretty sure she already beat her at Indian Wells without.
So I did just look that up. Paulini won that in 3 sets, seven
Oh, did-
six, 1-6, 6-3. So came down to the wire there. I guess Jovic has proven that the Americans proven that she can hang with her. So that's definitely something we can keep our eyes on.
Sometimes you just need to win, one set, and then you have belief going in. I don't know if she had belief going into that match, but after, I'm sure she does, and so she's gonna be very very confident, knowing, hey, I won the set, I can win two. She's gonna have the crowd.
Yep.
She's young. She's like, I think she's like 17 years old, so she is definitely a bright future, and I think this could be a great breakthrough, and we will see. And as for my girl, Rybakina, I mean, she couldn't ask for a better draw to round three. She plays a girl I've never heard of, which I probably shouldn't say, but I don't know who Pereja is. She might have won the juniors, I'm guessing, because I've never seen her name. Do you want to look that up?
Yeah, I can look that up as you
She
keep
won
talking.
the wild card junior tournament. And then
Yep.
Bronzetti's not going to give her any trouble. The match that's going to be tough is Raducanu, but I think it's a good matchup for Rybakina, um, more so than someone like Fernandez, who was also in this section. So I do like Rybakina's draw in terms of I don't really see any of these people being able to pull the upset. I think also Kudermetova can beat Raducanu in round two.
Yeah.
So I think I couldn't ask for much more from Rybakina's draw. You know, as the 9 seed, she's going to be playing a top, two players to get to the semis, two players in the top eight.
hmm
So
So I went ahead and looked up Julieta Pereja. So she's an
yeah,
American. She's 16 years old. So this will be her first Grand Slam. She's just played junior. So she made the juniors of Wimbledon, lost in the final there. She won some qualifier last year to make this tournament.
with the girls, so the Kalamazoo winner on the boys' side for juniors gets a wild card, and I think that the girls 18s nationals, which is in San Diego, I think, gets a wild card. My guess is that she won that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Did
Her
not
her
win the.
her Wikipedia. She's so young. Her Wikipedia is pretty blank. So hopefully, after some wins over the next couple of years, she kind of makes a name for herself. But wouldn't get your hopes up against Rybakina.
No, that's a great. I mean, that's a great first round. Maybe they'll put it at night. So,
Yeah.
anyways, as for betting value, I don't like really much there. If you want to go a little crazy, I just don't. I think Tavalenka is just so consistent. But if you want to go a little crazy, is there any long shots like? Because even Lynette 50 to 1 is, to me, it's like okay, but I would need much more than 50 to 1. And I like her game, and I just don't think 20 to 1 on Mertens or Fernandez or any of these
Yeah.
is that appealing. I
Yeah,
think you just
I don't think. I think if you want a long shot, I don't think quarter one is the spot for you. I think that'll be Sabalenka or Rybakina,
I agree.
pretty likely. So let's check out quarter two. This is Mira Andreeva's quarter.
Yeah,
She has kind of been caught the injury bug a little bit. We haven't seen much of her lately. I know she won Indian Wells earlier in the year and then has kind of stumbled throughout the rest of the year. Been a little bit inconsistent. She's three
yeah.
to one. Next up, Victoria Mboko, who just won the WTA 1000 in Canada. I believe she's 18 years old, very young, plus 450. Pagula, one of the most consistent players on tour, she's 5 to 1. Samsonova 7 to 1, Belinda Bencic's 9 to 1, and then everyone else is 14 or longer. A couple other notables: Emma Navarro, who's lost 5 out of her last 6 matches, 18 to 1, and one of your favorite players, Ostapenko, 25 to 1.
Love her. So it's an interesting section. I mean, like you definitely see of the top girls, like Andreeva is pretty vulnerable. So I think a lot of people are gonna want to go, get some, get the long shot fun, and Bencic is so consistent. I think I'll be surprised if it's not Bencic or Pagula. But if you want to look at like a real long shot, Townsend, Azarenka, or Danilovic, I could see coming out of this. And then you got a Grand Slam champion, Krejcikova. So I do think that it could be, a surprise girl because I could see like Ostapenko beating one of the top girls and then losing the next match. Stuff like that happens with her all the time, and you have. So it's a pretty weak section. Teichmann's terrible right now.
Yeah.
Then you have Kramkova is more comfortable on clay. I think if you want to get crazy, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova is probably your best long shot, 50-1. She's better than a lot of these girls that are 20-1, 30, 15-1. And she's healthy. She's proven she can beat anybody. And I don't think there's gonna be a match that she will play in this section where I don't think she can win. So that would be my long shot.
Yeah,
Of
I don't hate that. I mean, like you said, you think that she would kind of match up or she would play better than some people ahead of her. Like I brought up Navarro, she's just in horrible form. That's, if she wins this quarter and goes on, far in this tournament, I'll just tip my cap to her. That's not something that I'm gonna be betting on. Krejcikova against Mboko round one. So that is probably that'll probably be one of your night matches on
yeah,
center court. That's a very good matchup. I think it's really funny that Mboko, her first U.S. Open, she's plus 450 to win her quarter. I mean, I know she looked great. She took out Rybakina. She took out Coco Gauff, but that's a lot to ask for a young player stepping up to the bright lights.
and I think I was actually like I would love to have bet against her at like a day session, hoping she's in a day session, like kind of an empty crowd. Maybe she gets a stadium court, but like one of those like empty, everyone's at
Yeah,
work kind of day. Because, I think what's doesn't get talked about is like the final semis, quarters, even like she got like kind of crushed in the first set, and like if it wasn't for that crowd being like absolutely insane, pushing her, like she would have lost all three matches if
yeah.
they're in the U.S. Open kind of atmosphere. Like, so I don't think that she's even remotely ready to make a run. I don't think she's. I think that Krejcikova probably beats her pretty easily. Um, let's check out. She's a minus 227 favorite, so I think I love it. I love Krejcikova plus 181. I'll put that as one of my favorite first round bets.
Yeah,
I think
I had that written down too. I'll take the experience there and see if she can prove me wrong.
she's steady. I hate her game. I find myself against her. This is probably gonna be the first time I've ever had money on her in like 3 years. But I don't think she's got like a great game right now. But I'm not sold on Mbako outright really at all. Besides it, the crowd isn't gonna be. It's gonna be for her. It's, North Americans, but
Yeah.
I don't think she's ready. I mean, her serve is gonna break down, her forehand's gonna break down, and Krejcikova is like very solid, smart player from both sides. So I think that it should be a pretty straightforward victory for her. Actually,
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think my pick here is I'm gonna go with Pagula 5-1. Just
go.
starting from the top, Andreeva. I just don't think this is her tournament, and honestly, I want her to go far because I bet her after Indian Wells. I have an 18-1 future on her to win this tournament. So got some value there. I also got that same value for Wimbledon and French Open, and that did not treat me
Yeah,
well. So
she's
um,
gonna break through eventually.
yeah.
Like, Indian Wells like slow hard courts, but she's done. I think she was finalist Cincinnati last year, or semi-finalist last year Cincinnati. She can definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins this tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if she lost early to someone like a Ostapenko or whoever. But I just think that she plays Alicia Parks first round, which is kind of an interesting match.
Hmm.
Uh, at least for her, to be honest.
for someone struggling probably more with confidence than anything, playing like an American who's like she's gonna be like not taking her, she's gonna be locked in, and if she can get through that, I think her confidence will build and she can definitely make a run. But I think Pagula, is gonna take that mixed doubles matches really well, like momentum wise, and I think she's ready for a big run. If we want to break down her draw,
Yeah, so you're talking Pagula here. She's at the top of quarter two. Um,
she's also last year's finalist, which is some pressure to defend points, but I don't think that will affect her that much. I mean, it's not like she needs the money.
no, absolutely not. No, I think that'll just give her confidence. Honestly, knowing that she's playing these big matches, knowing she beat Iga last year, she lost to Sabalenka 7-5, 7-5. So it's not like she just got crushed in the final.
Right. I
Um,
mean, the second round will be interesting. It shouldn't be like too tough, and then third round is gonna. I could see it being any. It could be a Stremsko, who's definitely a tough girl. It could be the girl I was talking about, Pavlyuchenkova. It could be Azarenka. Probably not. Uh, Again, those are all three. Like whoever it is of those three, really have.
yeah.
It's probably Stremska maybe, but Pagula should be a pretty decent favorite going into that match, and
Yeah, and honestly, if she gets through that, it looks like in the round of 16, she'd play Samsonova or Belinda Bencic.
yeah,
She's pretty good on the hard courts, actually, but I feel like she kind of struggles with kind of big matches and doesn't necessarily have the clutch gene. We haven't really seen her kind of break through and win any big
yeah,
matches. So I'd give Pagula the upper hand there, and then Belinda Bencic. Obviously, she, um, had a baby, I think, last year, restarting her career again. We saw her make a deep run. It was at Wimbledon, right? Yeah, it was Wimbledon, and she ended up losing
yeah.
to Iga in the quarterfinals, or is it the semifinals?
It
Um,
was it's her toe broke. Not that she
yeah,
probably would have been able to, but she's a very, very steady player who is very consistent. Is going to give a lot of the top girls, on if they're having any sort of off day, you know, she's gonna give him problems because she moves really well too. But I think
yeah,
Pagula can do everything she can, just a little more firepower, and it's in America, so I like Pagula's chances to come out. And then it's ridiculous that Emma Navarro's the 10th seed. That's I mean that's like a dream. She has a nice draw, but that's a dream for the winner of Mboko Krejcikova to get that. So then you're looking at
yeah.
what I think is Ostapenko and Andreeva's slot as okay, if someone is gonna make a deep run as an underdog, it'll probably be from that. So let's say Ostapenko loses,
Mm-hmm.
which she can lose to anybody. Let's say she loses to Townsend. I'm gonna say that's not the craziest thing in the world for Townsend, but she's 40-1, and I would want 85-1. But I could see it happening, making a run. She's always good at the U.S. Open, so
Yeah.
that's why. End of the day, I think Pagula's draws. She can work her way in. It's pretty good. I'll take Pagula to win this section.
Yeah, yeah. So we're simpatico there. We're both on Pagula, and yeah, I think ultimately, I don't want to. I know we've brought it multiple times, but I don't want to understate this at all. Like the Americans, having the crowd behind you, especially for critical points, can really light a fire under these people. So when we saw it with Fritz last year, for example, making it all the way to the finals. So a lot of these women will kind of be looking for that same energy. So
Totally.
moving on to quarter three. Speaking of Americans, we have Coco Gauff, one of the top players in the world right now, as per her rankings. Maybe not necessarily by her play, which we can get into in a second. Coco Gauff plus 250. Madison Keys, the Australian Open champ, plus 350. Naomi Osaka 4-1, and then a drop off to Makova 14, Noskova 15, and Marta Kostyuk 20-1. What do you got your eyes on in this quarter three?
Honestly, I think that Coco Gauff is great value here. You know, Osaka is. I took her. I can look it up, like 40-1, I think, to win the tournament. She's one of my her Towson, Rybakina, but those numbers are gone. So we're just looking at today's numbers.
Yeah.
And I mean, Coco Gauff got a new coach. It's blah blah blah. I think that's like a mental reset. If anything, I can't imagine they're going to change much, but at least she has that like reset and can blame that guy. It's a new start. I just don't. From these names, I would be very very surprised if any of them beats Coco Gauff. It's a very good matchup. But I mean, Mutrova is probably the only one. I don't like how Keys is playing. I did have Keys to win the Australian Open. I loved what I saw from her going into that tournament. It's just she doesn't have it. Just not hitting the ball the same. The confidence isn't there. Nothing's there the same naturally. I think she kind of is one of those girls who's okay, my career is set. Like I did it, and I think she's not really pushing herself to improve. I don't think she's improved at all. So which is fine. It's nothing. No knock on that, but. Osaka's definitely the girl who's going to get picked by a lot of people. Like, she's definitely playing well. She's got the expectations. She can beat anybody. But I think that Coco Gauff's great value to be plus 250 in this section. I think if it was like a few weeks ago, she'd be like minus 125 like Sabalenka is with these girls. It's a much easier section than Sabalenka's. So Muchova is like probably the girl who's like gonna get talked about, but like I just don't see her being able to beat Coco Gauff.
I don't even think Muhova's going to make it. She'd have to make it to the quarterfinals. And we haven't seen her make a deep run since she played Iga in the French Open a couple years ago because of injuries. So
my favorite bet is Krejcikova, and my second favorite bet is Coco to win this quarter. I think it's great. I think she should be like minus 150.
Interesting. So that I'm gonna. I disagree with you just because all I've been paying attention to is Coco Gauff had another like 15 double faults in her match today, or whatever it's been, her struggles.
And she still almost wins.
I know, and she still almost wins. So looking through this quarter, like you said, I'm really not that impressed with anyone. Can she have 10 double faults and still beat Madison Keys? I think the answer is yes. I think where the issue would be gets to the semis, has to play Iga. You can't give Iga 15 free points. You're not going to win that match if you play like that. But ultimately, I think if she gets a couple wins under her belt, like it's really not that hard to start. Like Tomljanovic, she's going to win that. Then she has Vekic against Stearns. We just saw Stearns lose to Venus Williams. So
Vekic played Monero, who I think had a good run at a tournament recently.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stearns.
Tomljanovic and Vekic are both, girls who absolutely love to crack the ball, and both on a good day. I think Tomljanovic is the last beat Serena in her last U.S. Open.
You were right. Yep, that's correct.
She's seen better days. She's not really coming in playing that great, so it'll be at night. I think she'll be able to play her way in. Vekic could be tricky, but she's just not playing well this year at all. So, she really shouldn't lose that match. And then her seed is Freck, who I think is very good. Just not a girl who's going to beat like a top 4 player. So she can work her way in. I don't really see how she's not going to make the 4th round, even without a serve.
Yeah. But then it's probably going to be Osaka, right?
Yeah. And it's great. She should have plenty of gas in the tank for that match. I think Osaka could lose to Siniakova. And she could also, and then it's easier. But, yeah, I just see Coco Gauff. I don't see any of these girls beating Coco Gauff.
Yeah, and I
think we would wait because there's definitely maybe even better ways to play it. Maybe you want to do, because she's not going to be like an absolute huge favorite versus the first girl. maybe like minus 800. Let's check, maybe more, but she's minus 2,500. Uh, okay, so she's minus 2,500. Maybe starting with Vekic, you just do a couple like open parlay her, and then you add the next match, and then I think versus Osaka, what do you think she would be? Minus 175, minus 200 at most.
Yeah, probably pushing the upper 100s there.
Right.
Yeah, which it's hard because you don't know what you're going to get out of Osaka. We
Right.
saw her a couple years ago, or I guess it was last French Open or last year's French Open, right, where she took the first set off Iga and then got it down to like she was ultimately going to beat her, and then Iga comes back and wins. Osaka cries in her post match press conference like she always does, and then she has to like work her way back up. So I I just I think Osaka. I think she has the highest ceiling, honestly, right now because I don't have a lot of faith in Coco's game.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's probably ultimately I could just see Coco just being good enough to beat everyone in this quarter.
Yeah. And then I think if any, like the biggest long shot, I think Haley Baptiste can make some noise. Obviously, the semis is a lot to ask, but
Yeah,
that's a girl who, could play. Get the crowd going for her. Siniakova is a good player, but I'm never that impressed with her. So Baptiste for Osaka, I think that can be a lot trickier than anyone's gonna give than we'll think. So
yeah.
I'll go upset there. Why not? I'll take Baptiste to beat Osaka.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll I guess make the path on paper a little bit easier for Coco if that ended up
I
happening.
think if you look it up, I'm pretty sure they played in Florida this year at Miami.
Who did?
Baptiste and Osaka.
Okay. Baptiste and Osaka. Yes, they played in Miami. Osaka won 7-6, 3-6, 6-4.
And
So yeah,
she should
pretty
not have won. She should not have won that match. It was very lucky. Um, so I'll go up. I think again. I think Baptiste is going to come in thinking I should have beat her in Miami, like with total belief and with the U.S. Open crowd behind her. The U.S. Open. I don't think the U.S. Open likes Osaka. She's not a very likable player.
no.
So I think the crowd can really, and she's the kind of girl who, when the crowd's totally against her, kind of can fold. So maybe it'll
Yep.
even be a night match. So
Yeah.
let's go night match. Baptiste over Osaka, round two. Third
Okay.
upset. Why not?
Mark it down. Mark it down.
Market, be it.
I think what's kind of funny is like we went through the first two quarters and you easily named like several players like, oh, this person has the potential to make a run. And so on quarter three, it kind of dwindles down to just Coco and maybe a couple others. And then moving down to quarter four, this is Iga's to lose.
Yeah,
She's minus 165. I think this was, what maybe people aren't talking about enough is she won Cincinnati, got that number 2 seed, and guaranteed that she wasn't going to be on Sabalenka's side.
yeah,
So now she can kind of just pick off everyone down here. So we have Anisimova, who obviously lost 6-0, 6-0 in the Wimbledon final to her. She's plus 650. Svitolina, 14-1. Alexandrova, 18-1. Kalinskaya, 18-1. Your girl Daniel Collins, 25-1. I don't think they'll ultimately run into each other, but um, do you
yeah.
think anyone has a chance to beat Iga, or is it going to be pretty hum ho? She's gonna
Yeah,
take
so
this
I
quarter.
know I know that we're sponsored by DraftKings and using their quarter odds, but I'm looking at Bookmaker and Iga is the favorite to win the tournament
Mm-hmm.
right now, and I think that's rightfully so. I don't know. I don't really. I think she's going to win the tournament if I had to choose. There's only a couple kind of players who can beat her, and I think Collins, like if she wasn't hurt, maybe could, but like she was serving like 70 miles an hour. She's clearly back injury. I think there's like a story of her like not carrying her bags out of Cincinnati.
Mm.
Uh, so she's hurt, and a girl that I thought like was gonna make a huge bump this year and maybe win a major, and I couldn't have been more wrong, was Diana Schneider. So she's terrible now. I think she lost today, not even like really remotely close to Mertens. So it's a really pretty easy section. Kalinskaya is probably the girl in the best form this summer on hard courts because the other girls barely did anything. So again, I think it's, we don't have to go through this one. I don't really see anyone giving Iga much trouble.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple names I think are decent, like Alexandrova. Iga's kind of gotten her number, winning 4 out of the last 5 matchups there. I mean, so she's solid talent, but I don't think can push her that well. And Anisimova, I would love to see how Anisimova, if she got to the quarterfinals, like kind of like what headspace she would be in mentally after her thrashing. Like, obviously, I think she would do better, but I still think that'd be in the back of her mind, like, hey, like, I do not want to get like bageled here. I want to try to make it competitive. So that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot to say here. I think Iga is going to ultimately win this quarter. But she's minus 165 to win the quarter. You can just bet her minus 105 to make it to the finals. I think I'd rather do that than bet the quarter. But then also, I guess, to win, you brought up how she just flipped Sabalenka, Iga plus 250 outright, Sabalenka plus 275, and then a pretty big jump down to Coco plus 950, Rybakina, and Andreeva 12-1.
Okay. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, I'm looking at Bookmaker where Rybakina's 8-1, Coco 6 plus 685. So it's better at DraftKings than Bookmaker, but I don't see that quarter being any trouble, which I think could end up hurting her in like a semifinal versus, my guess is versus Coco, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it would be Coco. Yep, Iga versus Coco. Yep.
I think that, I mean, like, she's gonna I just not be pushed, and I think that could hurt her. I think sometimes when you have some tough matches, you're more prepared for your biggest one in the semis. So we'll see how that shakes out. But she's definitely coming in playing great. The doubles was great. She's definitely a weird personality interview. As the summer has gone on, I've noticed more and more. So I'm excited to watch her, I guess. But she thought that there was a lightning strike or thunder and lightning starting in the tournaments. There's a plane flying over her. And
I know.
yesterday they were asked her a normal question, and she goes, "Wow, that's a very tough question." It was like, so how do you play? Very interesting. I think there's something going on with her, but she seems to be doing well right now mentally, so she's gonna play well, and she's definitely the player to beat.
And I was listening to the Beating the Book podcast with Gil Alexander, and his guest Drew Dinsick brought up a good point of he doesn't think there's anything on the court that someone can do to stunt Iga, but it's he brought up the double bounce against Navarro back at the Australian Open. Iga was playing so well, and then Iga didn't call a double bounce, whether it happened or not, and then the news made a big deal out of it. We saw it at the Olympics last year also when Danielle Collins was talking smack about Iga, and then she ended up losing. So
no, I mean she can lose to players who just go for it. She's kind of I hate to say Nadal, but she's gonna be she's going for more though than she used to. But still, you saw it versus Paulini. Paulini could take had these points where she took it to her. So if there's gonna be a girl who's just gonna it's only 2 out of 3 sets, so it can happen easier on the women's side. But a girl who's just gonna go for it, a girl that's really flat, like Ostapenko and Collins, who can just go, hit winners all night. And that is what I think she's improved though, because she's now going for more. But last year, I think she lost Ostapenko last year, where Ostapenko just hit winners every shot.
Yeah, and I think Iga, so she got a new coach, has been working on her serve. I think they said it was up 7 miles per hour this year in Cincinnati as opposed to last. So Obviously, that helps because if her second serve is kind of just thrown in there, people like Ostapenko are just gonna like line it up and rip it, which is what we've seen. So, real quick, outright wise for the women, the DraftKings has a couple like specials on here. It has the big two versus the field, Sabalenka or Iga to win -140, or the field even money.
Ooh.
What would you lean towards there?
I would lean towards Iga and Sabalenka, I think. Only
I think so
because
too.
I think Iga does have such a nice draw to those semis, and Sabalenka's been, I think, what is she? Final. Has she gotten to all three finals? No, she got in before the Wimbledon final, but she was in the semis, so she's going to be right there. So the chances of a final is just so likely.
Yeah.
I would do it. If it was like, I mean, obviously, if it was the men's, I guess we'll get to the men's, but the Carlos Sinner versus the field has to be like -250.
Well, those two to meet in the finals, I think is -105 or right at even money, which is kind of how it's been the past two tournaments, and the chalks came through. But just to close things out on the women real quick, Iga is 6-0 in Grand Slam finals, which is definitely nothing to sneeze at. Sabalenka is 3-3 in Grand Slam finals, so they both made 6.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Okay, you ready to transition over to the guys?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So with the women here, I mean, we just talked about, we threw out like, 30 names of people who could potentially make a run. With the guys, like, yes, there are players who can make runs, but ultimately it's probably just going to come down to Alcaraz and Sinner. I'm guessing you probably feel the same way. This is kind of what we've seen the past two Grand Slams. So just really high level, are you expecting that a couple Sundays from now we are seeing Alcaraz Sinner in the finals? Looks like we lost you for a second. I'll keep going on this. So with Sinner and Alcaraz, I'm very curious in terms of like Alcaraz has beaten Sinner. I have their recent numbers up here. Alcaraz has won in Cincinnati. Obviously, last week Sinner was sick, so that was a forfeit. Sinner beat him in the Wimbledon final, but before that, Alcaraz won Roland Garros. He beat him in Rome, Beijing, Roland Garros again, and then Indian Wells in 2024. So he's won 6 out of the last 7. He's 9-5 against him. Do you think that Alcaraz, I don't think he's afraid to play Sinner. I'm not saying Sinner's afraid to play Alcaraz, but I think Alcaraz has some swagger in terms of like, I know I can beat this guy. I know I lost, in the last final, but I've done it countless times. I know I can beat him. Do you think that's an issue for Sinner at all? You're muted. I can't hear you. You're muted. Try to fix the mic here. Let's pause it.
No, I think the biggest issue for Sinner is I don't think we know quite about this virus, like if it's long term or if it's, how much it take out of him. I think it was kind of interesting that he hugged Alcaraz, so maybe he's going to get the virus. It is something going on in the locker room because Zverev seemed like he had something that he was not moving well versus Carlos.
Yeah.
So
Sinner was on the practice courts today. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just a bug, which maybe it sounded like more than something serious, and he does have, I think he's got a dream draw. When it comes to what you said about Alcaraz, like Alcaraz has improved, in terms of it used to be he's going to be like the better player, like top notch, but he can't keep it together for 5 sets. He's going to have his dips, he's going to have his highs, and Sinner's just going to be like there. But I think even at their like peak, I've always thought Sinner's the better player. he's the more complete player. I don't think he has any weakness when he's at his best. He's a clear number one to me. So I do think that I would be shocked if he loses on hard court. More than I'll say. I'll say he loses under 4.5 sets this tournament.
Well, like how it's been with Alcaraz is he never, like in these lead up tournaments, he never just wins like 2 sets to love. It always goes to a third set and then he pulls through, which,
Right.
it's all fun and games until you get to a Grand Slam final and you've been on the court for like 3, 4, 5 hours longer than Sinner.
Yeah.
You need as fresh legs as possible. So we saw him last year. I mean, he lost in round 2 against Botic van der Schulp in a night match on Ash. And I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but he hasn't shown that he plays at his best at the U.S. Open. That is where he busted on the scene, though. I remember when he hit that like backward shot against Sinner in I believe it was the semifinals of the 2023 U.S. Open when he won his first Grand Slam.
I think he's a 2-time winner at the U.S. Open.
Did he win in 2024 as well?
He won it at least the COVID year, I think.
I
Or the
can look
first
it
year
up
after.
here. So the singles champions, let's go here. We have Sinner 2024, Djokovic 2023, Alcaraz 2022, Medvedev 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So I think if you look at the men's, it's the Sinner's only question mark is the virus, and then you have Djokovic. It's like, he took a lot of time off. Is that gonna be like the best thing for him? But even him at his peak right now for his age, he can't beat. I don't think he can beat Sinner. His best chance is to beat Alcaraz and hope Sinner loses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just don't see him beating back to back them. But he's gonna go far. I think he's the clear third player, and then it's a huge drop off. Zverev maybe has played well enough in Cincinnati and since Wimbledon to become again the fourth best player probably. And then it's just a waste of time, I guess. Like there
Yeah.
isn't a fifth guy who
I
like,
wanted to go back on your point real quick about Djokovic Alcaraz. So Djokovic is 5-2 head to head against Alcaraz. So like you said, if he can beat him, which they are on the same side, and then Djokovic has lost his last 5 meetings against Sinner. He's only won 1 set, and it was in a tiebreak.
Yeah.
So like Sinner has him totally figured out.
I think that Djokovic hasn't broken his serve even more than like once.
Yeah.
I was at the semifinal of the French Open this year where they played, and it's like, it's sad to watch, but like it's everything that Djokovic does, Sinner does better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think they're the same player; they're different, but like there's just nothing that Djokovic could do that like faced him or like made him uncomfortable. And I don't think Djokovic is in the stage of his career where he's gonna have new tricks or maybe like if he's playing a match where like the only thing he can do is serve and volley or do these things, like that's not really a comfort level for him that is going to lead to an upset over 3 out of 5 sets. Like he doesn't serve big enough to like change his game to be like, all right, I'm going to play quick points and that. And I just feel like Alcaraz, it's like a more comfortable matchup where he can get into like points that he can, have a better chance at. But, maybe we'll see an American make a run. We did last year. So I guess another wild card is Draper because, he is a Masters 1000 winner this year and he can make a run. But I just
so that's quarter one. Quarter one, Sinners minus 400, Draper 6-1, Bublik 18, Tommy Paul 18, Mussetti 25. It'll probably come down to Sinner Draper quarterfinal, which I think would be a lot of fun to watch. But I don't know. I mean, Draper, like I know he's kind of. We haven't seen him make these super deep runs at tournaments just yet. I feel like these longer tournaments, his body kind of breaks down. And I
I think
know
that's
it's
overblown. I think that was the past. He's got to the semis last year here.
let's take a
Uh,
look here.
Last year, I think he was a semifinalist.
So Wimbledon, he lost to Chilich. French Open, he lost to Bublik in the fourth round. Australian Open, he lost to Alcaraz in the fourth, which isn't bad. And then last year, yeah, he lost to Sinner in the semis, 7-5, 7-6, 6-2. So yeah, pretty competitive here last year.
Yeah. I think what's one of the most fun first round matches is Chilich and Bublik in that section. I don't think either have played since Wimbledon. I don't think either played Cincinnati or Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, which is very interesting. I know Chilich is, he's a former champion here. He's going to feel comfortable. This isn't Bublik's favorite surface, like at all. Probably his third favorite of the Grand Slams. But it's just an interesting matchup where I don't think either are going to come in like that physically fit. And then you have like mentally they're not the he's Bublik is not like he's getting better, but he's not like the best comeback guy. So like I think you
Yeah.
maybe if you want to look at a total, I don't hate the under here of games, which isn't posted yet, but you'll probably get like a 39 and a half or 40 and a half. It's all the same thing pretty much. And 3 out of 5 for that. There's no key number, but I don't think that it's going to be a long match. So we'll have to go to 5 sets now, but I do think that whoever puts their foot on the gas, especially if it's Bublik, if he's
Yeah.
feeling good. I don't think Chilich is gonna make much of a comeback. Let's say. So
Yeah, Bublik. I can only imagine what Bublik's career would look like if he like could have like the same level of focus as like Sinner, like with his huge serve.
yeah,
But like imagine Sinner playing and throwing in like random underarm serves like when he's frustrated and stuff.
yeah,
It's just
they're,
like
they're different. He's actually having a great year. He's got great interviews with. He does the podcast with Kyrgios and the Patrick Mouratoglou, and
mhm.
he's got some great stories. Like he was like dropped out of the top 100, and he was training, and he has some funny stories. He was like asking the guys like, "Why do these guys try so hard? They're never gonna be good." It's like he realized like I need to like he just talks about it. He's like I needed to get my shit together. So he's
Yeah.
put in work and it's paid off. I think he's got to be in the top 20 now. If he's not, he's close.
Yeah.
So
It looks like he's 17 or he's 23 right now. 23. He's
yeah,
the 23 seed for this tournament. Yeah.
yeah at least he's beating people he should beat. I know when he came up,
Yeah.
he was like really hyped, but he's a top 10 talent, which was in the top 50 for too long. So he's in
Yeah.
the top 20, and I think it'll be a fun first round, maybe a night match even.
Hmm.
So
Do you give Mussetti any chance on the hard court here?
yeah, I mean, I actually think he's great value first round versus Pericard. I know it's minus 233, but I think it's actually like a really good. I think it should be a pretty easy matchup for him. So I'll put that as one of my bets for the first round.
Minus 233 against GMP. So GMP's playing right now in the Winston-Salem tournament. Got the semis tomorrow. So I think he needed more time on the hard courts because in Cincinnati, I think he lost early, right? Yeah, he lost to Wong in the first round of Cincinnati. But yeah, obviously big server. I bet on him a
Huge.
couple times, and it is like really painful to watch him once like the rally starts. He's so slow.
Yeah.
Um, but if he's serving 70%, he's a tough guy to beat.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have to win his sets in the tiebreaker,
Yeah,
uh, and Mussetti's not as playing quite as good as he was uh, earlier this year. He pulled out versus Alcaraz, and he hasn't been the same since. But he did make the finals of the Cincinnati doubles, which I think is gonna, it could be undervalued how much these like deep runs and doubles can spark a singles run. So I think he should be a much bigger favorite here. Uh,
Yeah,
he's
I'm glad you brought that up. I did not even check those doubles results out at all. So that's definitely good to know.
yeah,
Um,
he's a very good doubles player, and uh, I just feel like it's a good matchup for him. Like I just don't see how this guy is going to break him, and I think he'll be good enough to break him a couple times at least,
yeah,
and pretty straightforward match for him. So I don't think he's going to make the semis or the finals, but he'll definitely. And he's got a good first round.
gotcha. Yeah, so just to repeat that, you have Mussetti over GMP. It's right around 240. So just keep an eye on that. Obviously, matches aren't for a couple days, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, so I mean, quarter one, like we said, it's probably just going to be Sinner. Maybe Draper can give him a little bit of a fight. Moving to quarter two, this is where it gets a little bit more competitive. Zverev plus 175, Alex de Minaur plus 330, Rublev plus 750, Hachinov 9-1, Auger Aliassime 10-1, Cerundolo 14, Ugo Humbert 16-1. Tsitsipas 18-1. That should probably be 180-1. That's definitely not happening.
Yeah. So I think you'll see two guys like. First of all, I think Demeanor is playing great. Kashanov's playing great. Uh, that guy Hamad Medvedev, he's playing great. He almost beat, not almost, but he gave Alcaraz a really good match in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Um, there's another matchup that I think is actually a pretty good first round bet, which is Monfils to beat Safalin
Mm-hmm.
minus 128.
Okay.
I also like Roberto Bautista Agut, which is the match above it, minus 145. Um,
Against Fernley, so he's the guy that's out of TCU.
yeah, he's not playing as rough in the last couple of weeks. He's in some pretty bad form. So, and I think Saflin is a great matchup for Monfils. Saflin really needs to like overpower players, and I don't think he's going to want to like these long points that Monfils is going to play. And he brings his best for the Grand Slam, so I think he'll be able to play one good match before it's kind of over for him. I don't think he's going to make a big run at all, but he's a lot better than Saflin.
Yeah, I agree. I think this quarter would be even better if Ugo Humbert was in any sort of decent form. We haven't seen much out of him this season.
Yeah,
Um,
he's been hurt, unfortunately.
Yeah. So he lost to Tiafo at Cincinnati August 11th, so about 10 days ago. Um, I remember watching him at Indian Wells. He had a good match against Rune. We were talking about earlier about like how the U.S. Women can kind of use the crowd to their advantage. I don't know if you remember, but the Paris indoor tournament when he beat Alcaraz, I think it was last year or the year before. Like the French crowd behind him was just like they're absolute maniacs. Like that's
Yeah,
not a place I want to play Ugo Humbert. But here
no,
he'll be.
he's also like an amazing indoor player and amazing grass court player, but he's really not that great on outdoor hard courts or clay, really. So I don't see him making much of a run. It is wide open though. I mean, it's a fun section. So what do you think? What if we're gonna take one guy to make a crazy run to the semis?
I'd go with Auger Aliassime. Felix has been playing decent lately. We don't know the condition of Zverev, how he's feeling. You know, we saw him kind of look pretty poor after the Alcaraz match. So they would face each other in the round of 32, and then from there, like the only other tough person is Rublev, and Rublev can just as easily beat himself as someone beats him. So I'd go with FAA if I had to make a run. Um, I'm also a fan of him because I think his girlfriend brings their Pomeranian to their matches, and we have a Pomeranian too. So I'm an FAA fan for that same reason.
Okay. I will. I mean, I want to take Alex Deminor, so I think he's probably the best player in this section.
Yeah.
But I will go with Kashnov.
Okay. Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he took Shelton up to the very end in Canada a few weeks ago.
I think he's a former semifinalist here, right?
That sounds right. Was that? I'm trying to remember what year that was. So he 2022. Yeah, 2022 made the semis.
And then last year he was a part of the longest match in U.S. Open history.
Yes,
I think that was like a 9-hour. It was crazy.
Evans, yeah, 6-7, 7-6, 7-6, 4-6, 6-4. Wow.
Did Alcaraz win 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was, I remember I had a big future on Kyrgios to win that year. That's how I knew Kashnov made the semis, because Kyrgios lost to him in the quarters. Whereas I think Kyrgios going into that quarterfinal was the favorite to win the tournament.
I think you're right, because was that just off him losing in the finals to Djokovic at Wimbledon?
It might have been.
I think that was the same year.
Crazy, like 70-1 or 65-1. A couple weeks before the tournament, I remember taking it, and then by like the quarterfinals, he was the favorite, and I was like, oh my god, I have a chance.
Yeah.
Then he played like the worst match of all time with Kashnov. So I think Kashnov's finally getting his confidence back. He's a great hard court player. He's really perfect, like what you would like mold out to be like a hard court player, like solid on both sides, big serve. I think that he really can hold his own versus any guy in this section. So,
and he's 9-1 to win the quarter, so it's not a bad price.
Rublev could do it, but he's also one match away from blowing up. So,
yeah,
I do think that I would put Demeanor as the guy that I think will come through, but I will say Kashnov's the best betting value.
Yeah. I think De Minaur will ultimately come through. FA is my long shot, and I'm probably going to be staying away from Zverev. That's another guy I'll let prove me wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, quarter 3. Moving to the other side of the bracket here. Taylor Fritz is the top seed. He's plus 330. The actual favorite is Novak Djokovic, plus 140. Holger Rune, 7-1. Tiafo, 10-1. João Fonseca, 12-1. Jakub Mensik, 14. Korda, 16-1, and so on. Obviously, you talked about Djokovic. You said you had him power rank 3rd in terms of the best players in this tournament. He's got Lerner Tien, the young American, in the first round. Do you think that'll give him any trouble? I know Tien's beat Medvedev at a slam, but Djokovic is obviously a whole different beast. We lost your mic again. Okay, you're good.
So I was having this conversation with somebody who's going to coach a girl at U.S. Open. I ran into him at a tennis shop I've known forever. And I was like, we were talking about men, and I said I was really surprised that Lerner Tien is like able to beat top guys, because I kind of saw him as a guy who's like can beat the guys he's supposed to, but he's not gonna like give the top guys trouble. And he goes, Lerner Tien's tricky. He's tricky good. So I think he's got more weapons than we think, but like it's a big ask over 3 out of 5 sets to beat Djokovic. But if you're gonna beat Djokovic for a guy like that, maybe first round's the time to do it. And I give him more of a chance first round than like second round. So there's that.
Yeah, and sometimes we've seen Djokovic lose a set early in the tournament, gets a feel for things, and then kind of figures out his opponent and dominates the rest of the match. So I could see it. I mean, I think in terms of like, there could have been way easier first round matchups for Djokovic. That kind of just jumped off the page for me. I don't think he'll actually have a problem, but
Yeah,
would be a
no, it's
good
definitely not.
test.
I mean, just seeing Djokovic minus 700 first round is low. Like you usually see minus 3,000, you know?
Hmm.
So he's definitely not as big of a favorite as he usually is. And that's always interesting. But you know, the guys that I think is pretty interesting is I don't think Cam Norrie can give him much of a problem on hard court. I know he gave him some issues earlier in the year on other surfaces, but I actually think Korda has played great this week. If that can translate to next week, we'll see. But he's come back from injury, and he's a top 15 player if he's healthy. So
Yeah,
him versus
he's playing in Winston Salem right now. Beat Kekmanovic today. Has Fucsovic
yeah,
tomorrow.
he'll him versus Mickelson second round will be great. I think Korda can beat Djokovic. I don't think Mickelson can. So there's that. Um, Tiafo is going to be the guy who's like, okay, U.S. Open, he'll turn it on. Uh, and I don't think Nishioka can beat him. I want to call the upset there because I've always think Nishioka's game is really good, and I think it can give Tiafo a lot of trouble. But I think he'll figure out a way to win. Uh, I will say there is a small upset chance for Blanche to beat Tiafo. I'll call that upset.
So that'd be in round two.
Uh,
Did you catch any of Tiafoe's doubles match? Because his last singles match on August 13th against Rune, he retired from that match down 6-4, 3-1, and then ultimately played doubles with Keys. Did you see any sort of, or if you watch any sort of like fatigue with him, or does he look like he's going to be okay to be all
He looked
systems
fine.
go?
It's just neither or like they weren't a good pairing. Uh,
Gotcha.
so they weren't going to do anything in that doubles tournament. So I don't
Yeah.
take anything from that. Uh, Rune, I always think it's his turn to do something, but he never does it. And Fonseca's not ready yet.
Yeah.
I think if there's anyone who's gonna like sneak through, I don't hate. I don't even know if his odds were even up there, but if you're looking for something crazy, Mashak, which let's see, it's 25 to 1. It's not even that crazy, but uh,
Thomas Mahac, yeah.
I think if there's like a guy whose draw could like fall into perfect place, it's his draw. Uh, Mensic's a pretty. If you're gonna get, I mean, he is the last 16 seed, but if you're gonna get any top 16 seed, I wouldn't mind playing him right now.
Hmm.
Uh, and then you hope the draw like Djokovic loses to like Korda or something. So I think that Machek is at 25 to 1 is not the craziest thing I've ever seen based on like how the draw can happen, but I don't see anybody on the top getting through, and then I don't really see. I mean, I wanna say Runa can do it.
That I know. I was gonna bring that up too. Seems like just yesterday you texted me you bet him outright to win DC.
Yeah, I did. I lost. He didn't even play. He looked terrible versus the French kid who uh, I forgot the guy's Atman. I was watching. I don't see that smudge, but like I've never seen a guy have worst coaching thing where you can get coached during the match is like the worst thing for him because his coaches were telling him something and he was just like he comes out just sometimes so passive and then he like just cannot get a rhythm. So 3 out of 5 sets maybe could be better for them. He'll have more time.
Yeah.
He loses these matches where it's just like he's such a better player. He's kind of like I like kind of like to say he's like an Andy Murray. Like he just has so many options of how to win a match that like he can't choose which one, and
Hmm.
he ends up playing passive and which Murray used to do a lot. So it's just a matter of time until he breaks through and finds his like best self. Maybe he needs a new coach, but I'll say him. I'll go with him.
So yeah, and we haven't even brought up Taylor Fritz. I'm not a huge Taylor Fritz guy. I know he made the finals last year. He does have um, he has good, I guess, statistics on hard court. He has a great serve. He lost to Shelton in Cincinnati in a close match. Um, Fritz against Djokovic, though, I mean, we've seen that a couple times over the past couple years, and that's, I'll give the mental edge big time to Djokovic there. I don't think he's afraid of Taylor Fritz. But
No.
Fritz against one of these other guys, if someone else comes through like Fritz, I think Fritz could beat Rune in a quarterfinal matchup. But I ultimately think it's just going to be Djokovic.
I do too. I'll go with Rune just because it's fun to call an upset and everything, but it
Yeah.
should be Djokovic. It's a pretty good section for it. It's pretty, if he's gonna get what is Fritz the 3 seed.
The 4, yeah.
If you're gonna get a top 4 seed, that's I mean, for Djokovic, that's perfect. So I think Djokovic is the favorite, and if he gets Fritz in the quarterfinals, he's got matches under his belt. He's confident, and I wouldn't want to play Djokovic then. So let's go Djokovic, and then I'm gonna go with what everyone else is gonna probably go with, and if there's I'll go with the American Shelton in the bottom half.
Interesting. Do you think he can beat Alcaraz head to head, or Alcaraz will stumble before they would meet in the semis, I believe, or in the quarters? Excuse me, the quarters.
Oh, Alcaraz plays Opelka first round.
Yeah.
That'll be funny. I hate Opelka. I'll say Shelton beats Carlos in the quarterfinals.
Gotcha. I think that would be an absolutely electric night match. It would get very rowdy. That would be a lot of fun to watch.
I think so too.
I think Alcaraz got a tough draw though. I mean, he's gonna have to beat Fokina or Medvedev just to get to Shelton. I know Medvedev hasn't been in the greatest form, but he did beat him in the U.S. Open a couple years ago. And I mean, I guess his first couple matchups aren't that hard, but I really do like Fokina's game lately.
I think it's a pretty dream draw. Like he really has an easy draw to get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be thrown off at all by Medvedev or Fokina.
No.
Okay, that's fair.
Not right. No, Fokina doesn't have the game for 3 out of 5 sets versus Alcaraz, and Fokina would be like Fritz. He somehow always beats Fritz. He has a better game for like that, but Alcaraz is just too good.
Yeah.
Medvedev, I don't think is done. I think he's done in terms of like him competing at majors, which is sad, but his day is done at least for now. And then we will have our Shelton Carlos quarterfinal.
Because Shelton up top has it pretty easy. I mean, Lehechka I think is the best guy up there. I like betting on him. Not against these top players. He's got a great serve. He's a pretty good hard court player. Casper Ruud's in there, and he has no chance to beat Shelton.
No.
So yeah, I do think it is. I do think it's a Shelton Alcaraz collision course. But I'll be taking Alcaraz there. He's gotten the better of Shelton. I don't think Shelton's ever beaten him head to head, right? I think it's 2-0 Alcaraz.
Probably. I don't remember the last big. Shelton hasn't beaten yet.
It's 3-0. So 2025 Roland Garros. Alcaraz 1-4. They played at the Laver Cup. That doesn't matter. And then Canada in 2023. So.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be fun. I don't think there's like much to bet in terms of like I would not bet Shelton to win this quarter. I would wait till he plays Alcaraz.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't take a long shot in this quarter necessarily. I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth taking any of these guys.
So are there any like futures then that you would bet? I mean, Sinner's sitting there at plus 110. I know you said he's far and away the best player. Is that even enough for you to have any skin in the game?
It's not for me, but I do think he is the rightful favorite. Even
Yeah.
even if I think he should be like -110 to win the tournament, I still wouldn't take him. Being what would you say +105, 110?
Yeah, plus 110, yeah.
No, it's I don't see any future to me. Uh, I'd be shocked if it's not Alcaraz Sinner. So I guess that's the if you want to take what you say it's -105.
For Sinner, plus 105, yeah.
That would be the
Sinner,
final.
for what was I saying? The finalists, yeah. For them to meet in the finals, it's now minus 110.
I think I wouldn't hate that.
Sinner or Alcaraz to win the tournament is minus 475.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to lay that.
But the men,
Also,
it's tough.
yeah,
Like, it's more like a daily. You should if you want to bet the men, just go at it every day matchups and not probably someone take futures. I wouldn't even. I don't have anyone
yeah,
in future to be honest.
yeah.
It's just
I think the women are a lot more fun to bet futures with. I mean, you could have got Iga almost 10 to 1. I think she was like in the 8 to 9 range at Wimbledon last tournament.
yeah.
Obviously here it's gone down a bit, but
You have that.
um, yeah.
Nice.
The what I wanted to ask you real quick before we close things out. So, not even saying for this tournament, but on the men's side, who do you think is going to be the next non-Sinner Alcaraz player to win a Grand Slam? Or who are like the potential options you could see that happening, whether it's next year or maybe the year after? We lost you again. Yeah, you're good.
That's really tough. As Iga says, wow, that's a great question. I don't know. It might be a while.
I think a popular answer is Fonseca. Everyone liked how he looked in the South American swing early in the year, and then he isn't
Two, three
ready
years.
yet. Hmm.
He's definitely. I don't even know if he's going to be the best of those guys. Mensik could be better. There's some other guys who definitely can come up. There's always been like a Fonseca who's disappointed, like the
Yeah,
leader of the group. Look at Koric. I thought he would have won 5 Grand Slams by now, and now he's playing Lecheka first round, and Lecheka's -950.
yeah.
So you never know, but I think that I'm falling for saying Ben Shelton, just because I think that he's going to have a chance at both hardcourt tournaments for the next 3 years, like an outside chance, and then the maybe the easy. I mean, like Sinner's getting better on clay, so it's not. I don't see any guy coming up that's going to be like a great clay court player, like an adult, who's going to like be only good. I just don't see.
Yeah.
I just saw. So I would say that I would take nobody, maybe.
Nobody will ever win again until they're both retired.
Nobody for the next year is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the next year. I think one player that I'm a little disappointed, and I think this could be a couple years down the road as well, but Artur Fils, the Frenchman, he is injured right now, unfortunately not playing in this tournament. I watched him at a night match at Indian Wells this past year against Mussetti, and he just slams the ball. He's a guy I think that has a really high ceiling, um,
Totally.
but he's got to stay healthy. So I'd really like to see him. I could see him. I could see Shelton.
Yeah.
Um, Man, I would love to. Last year, I would have loved to have said Tommy Paul, and it seems like he just has some mental blocks, and then he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Because I forgot what
Yeah.
tournament it was last year. I think he lost to Zverev when he kind of blew a match, and he should have, I think, made the semis. I think that was French. I don't remember, but
Yeah, it's like these guys who are just like 8, 9 in the world, but like they lack that like big weapon to win that Grand Slam. You know,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's physical, maybe it's that one weapon, but I just don't. To win a Grand Slam right now in men's is you either need to be great like Sinner Alcaraz, or you need to be almost like a guy who can just peak for 2 weeks and like red line and uh, you know I don't know. I honestly don't know what it would take. Who was the last? Who was the last guy? Like the surprise was there has been like the who's the last surprise guy? I
Uh,
can't.
Dominic Thiem in 2020.
Yeah, that was a
That's
weird event, and he
so
was the door for a bit. I'm trying
Stan
to think.
Wawrinka 2014.
I think we forget was
Medvedev 2021.
he was Wawrinka's a 3-time champion.
Yeah, Vavrinka won in 2014, 15, and 16. Wow, he won the Slam 3 years in a row. I didn't realize it was
Yeah,
back to
he
back to
was
back
so
like
he
that.
was so good. I think injuries kind of hurt him, but so it shows. It's like it's very hard to just win a Grand Slam on the men's tour. Like Cilic might be the last guy out of like almost out of nowhere to win it, and he was so
Chilich
good.
2014 U.S. Open, yeah. Um,
So
Juan Martin Del Potro 2009. Just looking at this list it's pretty
and he,
unbelievable. All the
yeah,
Nadal, Djokovic.
Petro would have won multiple if it wasn't for injuries. So
Yeah,
Cilic is probably the most surprising guy, and he should have lost to Nishikori. He just played so well. So I don't know. I don't know who. I think it's gonna. I think is it gonna be like a guy like Cilic who like he was just served out of his mind those 2 weeks and was just blasting shots versus a guy who's like more steady like a Tommy Paul. It's tougher when you're like a guy like that. You don't necessarily usually break through to win it.
yep,
Uh, so
yep.
I will say it's like a guy like maybe like a Menchik who could like go nuts for 2 weeks, everything come together. Versus like I don't see a guy like Tommy Paul or other little guys. I guess littler.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think if whoever wins the Slam, I think it's going to be because Alcaraz or Sinner got upset. I would find it very hard to believe that player beats both of them. That would
Yeah.
be quite an outstanding tournament from whoever does
Yeah,
that. So
I don't know who can beat both. Besides Djokovic
yeah,
this year, I don't. Or Zverev maybe. I don't see anyone beating both of them. Like
yeah,
I don't see Shelton beating both of them.
yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so yeah, I guess rapid fire, like gun to your head, like who wins? Who wins men's? Who wins women?
All right, I'll go Sinner
Mm-hmm.
men, and
Yep,
then women. I will stick with Rybakina. I just feel
gotcha.
like it's I just feel like it's her turn to win another major.
Okay, she's sitting there on DraftKings around 12-1. We've seen as high as that. So,
Who won the
um,
U.S. Open last year?
uh, Sabalenka, right? Or no, U.S. Open
It was
2024
Sabalenka.
women. It was
She
yeah, it
beat.
was okay.
I
Oh yeah,
felt. I felt
Pagula, yeah,
Yeah, I felt 2 years ago that Coco Gauff was like I felt very confident that she was the player to beat, and you know I don't feel as confident with Rybakina, but I do feel like it's the pieces are gonna fall in place, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna say it's gonna be her and Iga final.
Rybakina Iga. I'll take an Iga Sabalenka final. I'll take Iga to win that. I know it's chalky, but she's just in the best
Oh,
form right now.
love it. Yeah, it's great.
And then on the men's side, I'm gonna have to go with Sinner as well. as long as he's healthy, he's going to be really tough to have 3 sets taken from him unless Alcaraz can really do something special. I mean, I guess if they get to tie breaks, really anything can happen. But as we saw in Wimbledon, Alcaraz was just like playing from behind. Like even that first set he took against Sinner, he kind of stole that out of nowhere. I think he won like the last 4 games of the first set, and then Sinner just cruised the rest of the way. So ultimately, I'll end up taking Sinner.
Okay, I like that.
But all right, well, excited for the next couple weeks. Really appreciate you giving the time, and we're coming up on an hour and a half here. Really enjoyed doing this with you. Maybe we can steal some more time from you next year when the next Grand Slam rolls around. But best of luck with all your bets, and
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Everyone listening, if you guys could just give us 5 stars, review, subscribe on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Perfect.